What's going on, guys? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon. MLB DFS, a video for Wednesday, April 3rd. We are back. We're eventually going to get a full slate of all these games in one slate, but it's a Wednesday. So if you're not playing on Fanduel, if you're playing on DraftKings, it's split up into 3 slates. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go over it. If you've never been here before, we do things a little bit differently here. We go through every game. We look at the games, we look at the pitchers, we look at the bats. So we look at it all. If you're looking for just like those 5 bats, 5 core bats, probably somewhere else. But if you're looking for in-depth, you're looking for actual knowledge, stick around. You also have a chance to win multiple times a day with all of our giveaways. So first off, the first way to win, like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment on this video. If we get to 50 likes, someone will win a free week of content brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. If we get to 100 likes, someone will win a free month. 125 likes, a free year, and 150 or more likes, a free lifetime pass worth $500. Now, the making of this video, we are at 124 likes on the video. I'm going to on yesterday's video. I'm going to refresh the page real quick to see if we're at 125 to get that free year for someone. Let's see. As you can see on the screen, well, you can't. Hold on. 124 likes. So we almost had it, but someone will win a free month, and that is what we're going to do right now. So that is one way to win. The other way, like the video, be a subscriber, and tell me who is going to hit a home run and what inning will they hit it in. I need the person and the home run. The distance traveled is a tiebreaker, but we probably don't need the distance traveled. So player and inning. We had someone guess Bryce Harper in the wrong inning. He hit 3 and he was wrong. We had a couple people actually win last night, so we're very excited. So if you did choose a home run hitter and the inning correctly, email us dfshelp1@gmail.com. That's dfshelp, the number 1 at gmail.com, and we will get you set up for your free week of FTA Plus. The other way to win, just liking the videos gets us a long way. Friday is the last day for our FTA Plus yearly pass. So we have a yearly pass for $199. If you use the promo code MLBVIP until Friday, you will get it for $75. After that, it's done, and it'll be $199. So anyone that wants to, last come, last serve, will be Friday. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick the winner. Then we're going to go over some of the games. We're going to look at the weather. We're going to look at the home runs, chances, and then we're going to dig into all of the games. At the end of the video, we're going to give you the top 15 batters per 10,000 simulations. So we simulate 20,000 times a day. These are the first 10,000, and if you were with us yesterday, you know the Cubs were a big one. We were in the Discord channel, given the core plays, given the other plays. Early games, I had the Cubs, or late, I had the Cubs. I had a stack. I had Morel. I had Bellinger. I had Suzuki. I even put in Garrett Cooper, who had a home run and a triple. We have been absolutely on fire the first week of the season, and we want to continue that today. So that being said, we are going to see who the winner of the free month of FTA Plus is. So it could be you. Let's check it out. And the winner is Davey J321. Appreciate the content. Congratulations, Davey. If you were seeing this, hit the like and leave a comment that you saw this. And then email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up for 1 month of FTA Plus. That includes every sport. So currently that's MLB, NASCAR, NBA, PGA, and then NFL once it comes back. So in the description of this video is today's article, which gives a few of the, out of all of these, a few of the pitchers we like, and about 5 batters at each position, and then 10 batters at outfield that we like currently. These are only the initial ones through the simulations. We will update them. We have a ton of information on the website. And I've tried something new, and I don't know if this is going to auto-update, but we have an MLB DFS projected lineups. I don't know if this will update, though. That's the problem. So I'm kind of trying to see if these have decided to update or not. on their own. If not, I will figure out a different way. So that being said, we kind of look at the games off the bat. We do have some weather concerns early. We got Kansas City, Baltimore that has weather. We have Atlanta, Chicago White Sox that has weather. We have Cincy versus Philly that has weather in it. The afternoon slate looks to be clear, and then the main slate, we have weather concerns for Pittsburgh, Washington, Colorado at the Cubs as well. So there might be some weather concerns that we need to pay attention to later on. But on the cheat sheet that we have a weather tab that stays updated for you. So just looking at the early projections for the ballparks that make sense, that look like they're projected high in home runs. Currently, 31.9 home runs over 14 games. Tropicana Field comes out at the top with Texas edging out Tampa Bay for some home runs. If you have not seen Adolis Garcia in the World Series and then Adolis Garcia right now, you cannot convince me the steroid era is not back. Look at the picture. It is unbelievable. But if he brings us some bacon and helps us win money, I'm okay with that. So Tropicana Field with Texas being number 1. Dodger Stadium is number 2 with home run possibility, with LA Dodgers outpacing San Francisco right now. Then we got Minute Maid Park with Houston ahead of Toronto for home runs. Then we got Chase Field. We've got the Yankees over Arizona for home runs. And then American Family Field, we have Minnesota going vastly bigger number stats-wise projected for home runs over Milwaukee today. Ballpark factors that make sense. Oriole Park, the wind is blowing in. I absolutely love that for us for pitching. It's got one of the worst opportunities for home runs outside of Wrigley. Wrigley, the wind is blowing directly in during the game time. It's got the massive favorite for pitchers, so that's definitely one I would look at for pitchers. Another one I'd look at for pitchers, Cincy versus Philly. The next one would be LA Angels versus Miami. It's a dome though, so we'd look at that. We do have the wind blowing out at Chase Field, but it is a dome, so that they could get that could go away. And yeah, so I mean, there's going to be pitching in certain areas, and we'll cover it all. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you hit that like button, that would be awesome. Welcome all the new people over. This has been like the craziest week of subscribers, views, comments. It's been awesome. And we're trying to bring home the bacon as easily as we possibly can and bringing you as much as we can. So we're going to go over it all. But if you are looking for just a little less, you're looking for maybe the core plays, you're looking for certain questions, get those down below in the Discord link, because we have prop bets we talk about. We have sports bets. We have DFS. We bounce lineups off of each other. If you have questions, get in there. See the content. We got NBA going. We got MLB as well. So that being said, first game on the slate, Royals, Orioles, Cole Reagans versus Corbin Burns. Absolutely love Corbin Burns here. Wouldn't even think about it. Cole Reagans has only faced 10 of these. It is a pitcher's park right now with the wind. So I honestly like both of these pitchers. I think Corbin Burns is your cash option. I think Cole Reagans is a tournament option if you want to go that way in an early slate that consists of 6 games with some weather concerns, and some of them, this being a weather concern in this game right now. But I mean, Corbin Burns, we know what he's bringing to the table. He's a stud. He's a stud. And he's coming off 36.9 fantasy points against the Angels on opening day, 6 innings and that 11 Ks. I'm not saying he's going to get 11 Ks because Kansas City's kind of stingy. They don't strike out a ton, but I absolutely love Corbin Burns here. And you're actually going to get him at a discount because he's 1,900 less than Spencer Strider, who also has a really good matchup too. So if you want to save a little bit of money, Corbin Burns is that dude. I absolutely love that. I would go with the Oriole bats. It really depends on the lineup that comes out, but you guys kind of know the lineup, the bats that we would look at. So we do our simulations, and what I'll try to do is maybe make these videos a little bit shorter to help you guys. We'll try it out today, and we'll check it out. So what we'll do is we will go over the pitching. The bats and everything, we'll leave that to our projections. We'll leave that to the simulation models. The batter splits, the BVP. We'll leave that there for this one. If you guys like it this way, we can continue breaking it down. If bats jump out to us, we will bring, like I said, we're going to do the top 15 bats at the end of going over the pitching. So we'll try a little bit different today. If you guys rather have it where it's 50 minutes to an hour long, completely understand. We will continue that up, and we will go from there. I do know that Saturday, we're going out to celebrate my birthday Saturday night. I don't know if there will be a video out for Sunday, unfortunately, but if there is, I will try my hardest to get that out for you before I go. And then I don't know how reception will be for Sunday, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Sunday will include MLB, NBA, and PGA as well. So, really like Burns as a cash option. I really like Cole Reagans as your tournament option. Then we go to the next game. We got Texas Rangers at Tampa Bay. We got Nate Eovaldi facing his old team. We got Aaron Savale here. Eovaldi, 112 plate appearances against the current lineup for Tampa Bay. 167 batting average, striking out 29.5% of those batters. Aaron Savale, on the other hand, 39 plate appearances, 20.5 K percentage, but a 250 batting average. So if we look at this, Eovaldi's the third highest priced pitcher on the slate. We look at his game logs. Not the best against the Cubs. Went 6 innings in that, 2 earned runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk, only 11.9 fantasy points. Now, I have had people ask what is like, with basketball, you're looking at a minimum of like 7 times value. What are we looking for baseball? For baseball, basically pitchers, you're looking for 2 to 2.5 times value to really at the floor, and then cash or tournaments probably getting that pitcher like Corbin Burns that goes off for 36 plus fantasy points. So three times value. Here would be obviously 27 fantasy points. Bats, you're basically looking for 3.5 times value minimum. So like Bryce Harper hitting 3 home runs, obviously way more than 3 times value. But yeah, that's kind of what you're looking for, kind of the target when you're building. Eovaldi here, coming off a bad start, but has had success in this ballpark at Tampa Bay. And looking over the top 15 batters right now, not one of them are Tampa Bay. And we will go over them at the end of this. On the other hand of that, instead of Eovaldi, Aaron Savale against Texas, we're looking at what he came off of. Against Toronto, went 6 innings, 1 home run, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 24.5 fantasy points, which is a fantastic option there. He's 7,700. I think he will go under owned because he is going up against Texas. But Texas, obviously, their bats are potent when they're on. I could see Savale being a tournament pitcher, but I'd rather take Eovaldi in this one. Savale is my tournament option. Eovaldi is my cash option if I'm going that route. Angels at the Marlins. Angels lost 2 in a row to Baltimore, and then they had a team meeting, and they've looked good since then, which is weird. So we've got Patrick Sandoval versus AJ Puck. I really want nothing to do with either of these pitchers. I'd rather take... So let's just see what Sandoval did. I'm pretty sure Sandoval got lit up opening day. Right? Didn't Crochet just pitch? Or did he get... Why is he showing up? Didn't Crochet just pitch Tuesday against the Braves? Am I tripping? No, he did. Okay, I don't know why he's even on there. So you look at this, and Patrick Sandoval, well, he was facing Baltimore, so I mean that's not against him, but minus 3.1, 1.2 innings, 2 Ks, 3 earned runs, out of there. Miami, I do like their righty bats in this one. The bats that I would use would be, I would be stacking both sides. Angels have been winning. Mike Trout, I would be looking at, obviously. Aaron Hicks came alive the Tuesday. Taylor Ward, like they have bats. I would be looking at right-handed bats on both sides of this. I really don't want anything to do with Sandoval. And then AJ Puck here. We look at this. Problem is, he only went 2 innings. 68 pitches in 2 innings, 33 of them strikes. I completely could see this being, I don't want anything to do with either of these pitchers. I would definitely be looking at the bats here. Really depends on the lineup that comes out, but I'm looking heavily at the top of the lineups with the right-handed bats. Minnesota versus the Brewers, you got Chris Paddock versus Joe Ross. Paddock has only faced 10 current Blue Jays plate appearances, so probably like one player. And then Joe Ross, same thing, 11. So they really haven't seen each other. So we look at this. Okay, so we got Paddock here at 7,500, making his debut. After making his return from Tommy John surgery late last season, he only had 3 appearances as a reliever. Now he's going to make a start. So he has not made a first regular season start in almost 2 years. That tells me that, he didn't look good in spring training. He has 4.73 ERA in spring training. I want to take exposure to let's look at Joe Ross, but I am definitely taking exposure to Brewers bats, definitely taking exposure to Minnesota bats as well. I think this could be a high-scoring game. I think they could get, I didn't realize he hasn't pitched in the majors since 2021. I had absolutely no idea. Yeah, so he hasn't pitched in 3 years, and I would absolutely not want anything to do with that. I don't want anything to do with Paddock. I don't want anything to do with Joe Ross. I'm looking at the bats in this. Would not be surprised if I just glance at the top 15 batters. I do have 2 batters so far. So, Minnesota bats, that would make sense. Carlos Santana, Byron Buxton until he gets hurt. Kirilloff, I don't mind. You could be looking at Max Kepler. I am looking at pretty much everyone in this Minnesota lineup. Brewers, on the other hand, kind of the same thing. Rhys Hoskins, you could be looking at, depending on the lineup that comes out. Bryce Terang, you could be looking at Christian Yelich. I wouldn't be surprised if Yelich hits a Yelly bomb tonight at all, or this afternoon. I don't want anything to do with these pitchers. I want everything to do with the bats in this game. Kind of the flip side. If the weather is good here, obviously Spencer Strider is a plus pitcher for 10-plus strikeouts. Last start against Philly, they are a better team. Only went 5 innings. Did have 90 pitches. Only 2 earned runs and 8 Ks. Would not be surprised with how bad Chicago is if Strider gets double-digit strikeouts in this one. I believe he only needs, 9 strikeouts to hit a 500 career or 1,000 career? I think that's definitely... He had 281 Ks last year. His aim is at 30, he said. I would not be surprised. He is very expensive, but for a reason. So you could put him in there at 11,300. You're going to have to find a value pitcher. And that's why we're here. That's what we're going to do. I'm in on Strider. I'm off on the mystery person. I'm on the Braves bats. We were on the Braves bats yesterday. The stack didn't work out as much, but Marcell Ozuna had 2 home runs for us, so he was very good in that stack. Adam Duvall was one of my core players because he was so cheap and in the middle of that lineup, didn't do anything for us. So I am on the Spencer Strider train against the White Sox. They only put up 3 runs. They're just a bad team overall. If the weather is the only thing that kind of scares me in this one. Red Sox at the Athletics, Nick Pivetta versus Ross Stripling. Was not on Nick Pivetta his first start, and that was a mistake on my end. Now we come to here. Oh, is this not on here? Cincy Philly is, but this game's not on there. Well, where's Cincy Philly game? Oh, there it is. Did they move it? Whatever. So looking at this, come here, take a pitcher in Oakland against the A's. They sent down their best batter in Esteury Ruiz, who had like 60 stolen bases last year, because supposedly he needs more at bats, even though he's batting .429. This is from the GM, and it was because he was wearing a bracelet that supported not moving the team. So they sent him down like idiots. Like, the management is absolutely wild. They are a bad team. They have, from what I saw, they have 15 errors already in the season. They're a bad defensive team. They're a bad hitting team. I'm looking at Nick Pivetta. I would definitely be looking at Red Sox bats as well. So Devers, Casas, Tyler O'Neill, these guys all come to mind when I'm looking. Looking at the simulation so far, it's got 2 batters for Boston as well. I don't want anything to do with Stripling. I don't want anything to do with Oakland bats. I want all the Boston bats. I want Nick Pivetta as another option if you're playing like Fanduel the all-day slate. Then we go Philly. Let's go Frankie Montas versus Zach Wheeler right now. Montas, 56 plate appearances, a 300 batting average against Philly. I guarantee everyone will be on Harper for good reason. And then Wheeler, 31 plate appearances, 286. Montas, he showed some strength here. His first start. Okay? So we look at his first start of the year, last week. 6 innings, 4 strikeouts, no earned runs, 23.1 fantasy points at 6,300. They've jumped him up 1,000 now. But we kind of look at this, and tournament-wise, I'm okay with, but the way Philly hit yesterday, or the way Harper hit yesterday, it's very hard to want to take him. And then we look at Zach Wheeler on the other hand. Current simulations have him as one of the best options today. We saw he came off 6 innings pitched there, 0 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 20.5 fantasy points, and then they lost 9-3. So after 6 innings, Atlanta poured it on in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, or whatever the box score was. Really like what he's got going here. 80 at his price. I like him better than Evaldi for sure. I like his matchup better than Evaldi. So if you're in between Evaldi or Wheeler, I would look at Wheeler over Evaldi here. Montas, I don't really want anything to do with him. I would look at Philly's bats. So Harper makes sense. Brandon Marsh makes sense. Trey Turner, Castellanos, depending on the lineup that comes out for Philly. So then we get to the Guardians at the Mariners, which is this mid-afternoon slate, or whatever you want to call it. We've got Logan Allen versus George Kirby. Allen, 13 plate appearances, 417. So really hasn't seen anyone. I'm assuming it's probably like 1 batter, 2 batters, 4. So Polanco, Mitch Haniger, Luke Raley, Sebi Zavala. So not much. He's been up and down. When he's good, he's been pretty good. We look at Logan Allen coming off what he did last week. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs. So gave up the long ball against Oakland. They ended up winning the game, but only 11.7 fantasy points. And then they put him up 100, which is wild. So he's got a worse matchup than last week, and he went up in price after a mediocre. I would rather look at Seattle bats. I'm 100% looking at Mitch Haniger. I'm looking at, obviously, Julio, but he's very expensive. J.P. Crawford. Just look at the lineup that comes out. I don't have any faith in Logan Allen as much here. I do like some George Kirby. So we look at George Kirby. He is the highest priced pitcher here at 9,700. He's coming off a fantastic game against Boston, where they won 1-0, 6.2 innings, 8 Ks, 32.6 fantasy points at 9,700, and they've kept him at the same price. Has a little, Cleveland's a better team overall than Boston. I would still look at George Kirby. Cash or tournaments, I really don't mind. And then I would rather, so if you are not taking Kirby, you could, Cleveland side, you could be looking at Naylor, you could be looking at Jose Ramirez, are the 2 that jump out to me. But if you are looking at Kirby, you could be looking to stack the Mariners in this one. Then we've got Carlos Rodon versus Merrill Kelly. Rodon, 68 plate appearances, 167 batting average. And then Merrill Kelly, 74 plate appearances, 179. So what the Yankees have been able to do early in the season is get pitch counts up, get on base, walk, get to the bullpen early. Whether or not that's going to be a factor overall, obviously them starting out hot 5-0 was a fantastic start. They're going to have to lose some games. But in this matchup, it depends on what Rodon we're going to get. Rodon in his first start looked gritty. He looked like he was trying to buckle down. He's only 6,600, which is kind of wild to me. But we look at this. He's coming off 4.1 innings, couldn't even get to the 5th. Only did give up 1 earned run. No home runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, 11 fantasy points. Now he is going up against Arizona. That does scare me a little bit. I don't know what Rodon we're going to get. We have obviously Cy Young caliber Rodon from years past, or we have last year's Rodon, which got absolutely rocked. Which one are we going to get? I'm probably leaning towards, tournament-wise, I will take a little bit of Rodon, but I'm kind of leaning on Arizona bats here. Ketel Marte, Gurriel Jr., Christian Walker hits lefties well. Corbin Carroll sat. I think Corbin Carroll just sat against a lefty. I don't know. I think he just sat because they were giving him a break. I really don't know. So we're kind of waiting on seeing if he's maybe in or out. So we kind of figure out if he's in or out, and we will look from there. But if Corbin Carroll is in, absolutely love Corbin Carroll there. Merrill Kelly, on the other hand, going up against the Yankees. He's had success in the past, but this is a different-looking team so far. But again, he's coming off a really good game against Colorado. 31.2 fantasy points is a lot of fantasy points. 6.2 innings, 1 earned run, 8 Ks. The Yankees can strike out, but they just look a little bit different this year. There's just something about them. So kind of looking at that, I don't know if I'm going to be on Merrill Kelly. I don't know if I'm going to be on Rodon. I'd rather look at the bats in this game. And then obviously the bats for the Yankees would be Aaron Judge, would be Juan Soto. I mean, Anthony Volpe can't get out. He's been absolutely on fire. Depending on Oswaldo Cabrera, Austin Wells probably plays in this game because he sat on Tuesday. So wouldn't be surprised if he does play in this one. And then the final one on this slate, Cardinals at the Padres. Zach Thompson versus Joe Musgrove. Thompson, 231 average and 16 plate appearances. Musgrove, 112 plate appearances against the Cardinals, 333 batting average. And we look at what both of those did. Zach Thompson down here at the bottom. Again, though, went up against the Dodgers. Actually, 5.1 innings, they actually left him in to dry because he gave up 5 earned runs, 4 Ks, 5.2 fantasy points. And then Musgrove, on the other hand, we look at Musgrove, game log, hasn't done well to start the season. Cardinals are a bad team, but I don't mind Cardinals as pitching. And he's had terrible success against them, or Cardinals bats. So we look at the Cardinals bats real quick. Just ones that jump out. Goldie's 11 for 21 with 2 doubles and a home run. Brandon Crawford 7 for 25 with 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. Wilson Contreras is 4 for 11. Nolan Arenado's 5 for 10 with a double. Like, they've had success against him. I am off of both of these pitching. I would look at the bats in this one. So looking at Zach Thompson, I would be looking at San Diego righties. Looking at the Cardinals, basically the ones we just went over. A lot of them had success against him. I do not trust Joe Musgrove here. So that is the afternoon slate, and now we can focus on the 5-game night or main, whatever we call it. We do have some weather concern in 2 of the games, but we'll still go over it. You got Pirates at the Nationals. You got Mitch Keller versus Trevor Williams. Keller, 53 plate appearances, 286 batting average against the Washington Nats. And then Trevor Williams, 23 plate appearances, 316. The way these teams have been hitting, they've been doing pretty good. So we do look at this. We look at Mitch Keller against Washington. Game log, not a good start against Miami. 5.2 innings, 4 earned runs, 3 Ks, 4.8 fantasy points. Not ideal. At 8,200, might be out of my range that I would look at. And then Trevor Williams, on the other hand, the way Pittsburgh's been hitting, he will be making his start. Let's see. I mean, he was going 5 innings and getting 5 strikeouts against spring training opponents. But still, first start of the year, Pirates bats have been very hot right now. They really have. I would be looking at Henry Davis. You could be looking at Kutch. You could be looking at Connor Joe. Just look at what the lineups that come out. But I don't think I like either of these pitchers, especially on this slate. I kind of would avoid the pitchers. I would look at the bats in this one. Tigers at the Mets. Casey Mize versus Adrian Hauser. The matchup that I thought we were going to get Tuesday, but it got rained out. I'm looking at Casey Mize. Same thing. I went over Casey Mize yesterday. I'm looking at the same exact situation. Love me some Mize here. It is a pitcher's park at Citi Field. So if the game gets in, is the weather a concern here too? The weather looks to be good in this one. Yeah, I would look at Casey Mize. I would not look at Adrian Hauser. You could look at some of the Detroit bats, but at the moment, none of them jump out to me. But I'm on Mize. So we look at Mize, 7,300 coming off. He's making a start. Obviously, he was hurt last year, didn't pitch. I would still look at Casey Mize here. Rockies at the Cubs, Cal Quantrill versus to be announced. So it is a pitcher's, like the wind is blowing in. It looks like it might be Drew Smyly. Okay. Well, we'll see. I don't know. It's not mentioning it yet. Maybe he comes in from the bullpen because they need him, but he hasn't done anything out of the bullpen. Well, I mean, against Colorado, 2 innings pitched there, but no strikeouts. So he hasn't struck anyone out. The way, the wind is blowing in as of now. I don't like that. I don't like Cal Quantrill either. I am looking at a Cubs stack again. One of my favorite stacks so far this year. Again, Morel. I would look at Suzuki, Cody Bellinger, Garrett Cooper. It just depends on who's in there. I do not trust either Quantrill or if it's going to be Drew Smyly, then we would be looking at some of the Rockies bats in this one. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. And that's why I tell you, come back to the site. Come back to the Discord, check out all the stuff on here because we will have it updated when and if all of the pitching has been updated in a timely manner. Then we got the Blue Jays at the Astros. We got Chris Bassett versus Christian Javier. Bassett's seen him a ton. 140 plate appearances, a 231 batting average. Only 15.7 K percentage though, so that's kind of a low percentage. And then Javier, 57 plate appearances, a 250 batting average, 21.1 K percentage. So we can look at what they've done so far. So last week, Bassett, 5 innings against Tampa Bay, 4 earned runs. I do believe we were on him a little bit, and he let us down. 9.9 fantasy points. Now he's got to go against this Houston team. I'd rather take the Houston bats. Altuve, Alvarez, Tucker, Diaz, Dubon. It really depends on the lineup that comes out of there. You've got Jake Meyer. You also have Chas McCormick. You could use either of those guys too. So I am off of Bassett, and then we take a look at Christian Javier. Good start against the Yankees. Ended up losing, but went 6 innings in that game, 0 earned runs, 6 Ks, 22.5 fantasy points. Going up against a Toronto team, I don't mind Javier at 8,800. More of a cash option, but you could go either way, cash or tournament. But again, I'd rather lean Javier, and I'd rather lean the Astros if we're stacking in this one. Then the final game is the Giants at the Dodgers. It's Kyle Harrison versus Tyler Glasnow, who I thought was pitching yesterday. Taking Glasnow, 44 plate appearances against the Dodgers. I would like it a little bit better if it were in San Francisco because that is a pitcher's park, but we can't get what we want. So Glasnow, a.k.a. Cillian Murphy, a.k.a. Oppenheimer. You know the reference. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look at Glasnow and take a look at a picture of Cillian Murphy and tell me they are not the same person. But I don't want Kyle Harrison. I'd rather take the big thing is when the Dodgers are facing a lefty, Teoscar Hernandez murders lefties. Would not be surprised if Hernandez goes off for sure. Harrison, I'm off of Harrison. I'm on the Dodgers as a stack. I'm on Glasnow as one of my pitchers. So there you have it. So kind of just reiterating the pitchers on the main slate. I don't want any Quantrill. I don't want any Smyly if he's in there. I don't want Trevor Williams. I really don't want Hauser. I will go with Glasnow, Javier, Mitch Keller I'm up in the air with right now, and Casey Mize are the pitchers on the main slate that I'll be looking at for Wednesday. So that's the breakdown of the games. Now let's take a look at the top 15 batters through 10,000 simulations. Like I said, we do 20,000 a day. So about 2 hours before first pitch, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com and check out everything on the site because then everything will be updated by then. So looking at the top 15 currently, the algorithm and the simulations love Corbin Carroll, number 1, lefty-on-lefty matchup against Rodon. Number 2, Bobby Witt Jr., even though he's going up against Corbin Burns. Number 3, Mookie Betts versus Harrison. Feels like a first pitch home run out of Mookie Betts. Number 4, Aaron Judge versus Merrill Kelly. Number 5, O'Neal Cruz versus Williams. 6, Ke'Bryan Hayes versus Williams. 7, Brian Reynolds versus Trevor Williams. 8 is Marcus Semien versus Aaron Savale. 9 is Parker Meadows versus Adrian Hauser. 10 is Juan Soto versus Merrill Kelly. 11 is Carlos Santana versus Joe Ross. 12, Ohtani versus Harrison. 13 is Jarren Duran versus Stripling. 14 is Rafael Devers versus Stripling. And 15 is Max Kepler versus Joe Ross. So the top 15, we have 3 Pittsburgh bats. We have 2 Yankees bats, 2 Minnesota bats, 2 Boston bats, 1 Texas, 1 Arizona, 1 Detroit, and 2 Dodgers, along with 1 Kansas City Royals bat. So those are the top 15 through 10,000 simulations. Once, like I said, middle of the afternoon, go to FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, check out the player projections and the simulations to see what has been updated and the ones that have been projected out the highest as well. On top of that, the article is live today, which is in the description of this video, and we have NBA content today as well, so you can definitely check all of the content out on the website. That's what I've got. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. Would love to hear them. Good luck on this slate. And let's bring home some bacon. Peace.